Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Motivating Monday. And today we're going to be talking about the character Jeroboam. It's mostly found in 1 Kings 11 to 14. So a bit of background on this guy. He is a servant of King Solomon, and his mother is a widow. And one day the prophet Ahijah tells him that God will give him 10 out of the 12 tribes of Israel. And so when this happens, Solomon actually wants to kill him, and so Jeroboam has to run away. So he runs to Egypt, and so he's in Egypt until Solomon dies, and then he returns. And so after Solomon dies, his son Rehoboam takes the throne. And you see, under Solomon's time, actually Israel was the most prosperous and the best that it has ever been throughout history. But with that came quite an expensive price. The people were worked very hard. And so when Rehoboam, his son, took over, they requested that he lighten the burden on them. And so Rehoboam thought about it for a while. He asked for 3 days to decide, and then he went to ask the elders what they thought. And the elders told him that if he serves the people will serve him forever. And so to listen to their advice and lighten the burden on them. And then he goes and asks his friends, his peers, and they tell him to be even harsher. And so he takes their advice instead, and that goes very badly for him. The people refuse to accept that, and so Jeroboam gets 10 of the 12 tribes that are now loyal to him instead of Rehoboam. And so that's about the story. He has a downfall later on. I won't go too much into that, but here I want to point out 3 things that we can try to take away from the story of Jeroboam. So the first is that God can raise anyone to do great things. So you see, Jeroboam, he was just a servant, and he was a son of a widow. And so in life, no matter what we think our positions are, or no matter how low we feel, or that we can't achieve anything, we should always try to do our best, because we don't know what what responsibilities or what great things God has for us to do. And so I would like to encourage you to just do your best and try to provide value wherever you can. And you never know what great things God might have for you. And the second learning point I want to look at in this story is that success means nothing without God. So in 1 Kings 11 verse 38, it says, "Then it shall be, if you heed all that I command you, walk in my ways, and do what is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as my servant David did, then I will be with you and build for you an enduring house, as I built for David, and I will give Israel to you." So it seems very simple, right? All Jeroboam, so this is God talking to Jeroboam, and it's very simple. All he had to do was just to keep God's commandments, and he would have an enduring kingdom, enduring house, and would be very continue to be very successful. But what he actually did was he turned away from God, and he turned the entire Israel to idolatry and sin, which is very bad. I'll elaborate on that more in the third point. So we can see that success, it really means nothing without God. We have to obey God to let our success have meaning. And not only will we be successful in this life, but we also be successful in the next life eternally, if we just keep God's word in our hearts, and so as to not sin against him. It reminds me of Psalms 119 verse 11. And so as we keep God in mind and we do our best in the world, God will give us great things, and he will give us great responsibilities, and we'll have to do all that we can to serve God. And success will have a great meaning for us. If you're a Christian, you understand that it's a blessing to be able to do everything that you can for God in every capacity, and in every way in your life. And so that brings me to my third point, which is worry often leads to sin. So we shouldn't try to worry that much. So in Matthew 6 verse 25 to 27, we're reminded by the Bible that God takes care of even the birds, and us as humans, we have more value than the birds. And so we should not worry so much about our futures. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't plan for our future or that we shouldn't try, but it's just that worrying doesn't really do anything. As the verse says, you can't add a cubit to your stature by worrying. And that's exactly what Jeroboam did. He worried so much that it led him not just to sin on his own, but he also caused his entire country to sin. So what he was worried about was that, see, the 10 tribes that he controlled were in the north, and the 2 tribes at the bottom, which were Judah, the problem was that Jerusalem was there, and when people went to worship, they went down to Jerusalem. He didn't like that because that was Rehoboam's territory. So what he did was he created 2 golden calves in Bethel and Dan, and he got people to worship those instead, which is obviously very, very wrong. And so it's this constant worry and insecurity in his power because he did not go to God. So his success, he wasn't content with what he had, and he had no direction. He wasn't following God. And this insecurity and worry led him to cause his own downfall and the downfall of an entire nation. And so as we look at this example, I think there are a lot of things we can learn from it, both in a positive and a negative way. I mean, positive in the sense that, God can really choose anyone to do great things, and negative in the sense that we don't want to make the same mistakes that Jeroboam did. And so I hope that we can apply these lessons to our lives, and that we will keep doing everything that we can to serve God. And I hope this was motivating for you. I mean, it definitely was for me. It's a good reminder to stay the course and fight a good fight. Yeah, have a nice day. Thanks. Holy